some folks had issues with this. And then the last page, assuming you weren't handing me a line of crap, the last page, the last couple of problems. All right. So solve for P. Indeed. We are solving for P.
I got A over 1 plus R.
I agree with that. All right, again, the idea, whenever you're solving an equation, is to get whatever the variable is, get it by itself. So I want the P by itself, which means everything else has to go. P is connected to the everything else through multiplication, so let's break up the multiplication through division. Merit and merit, 2 merits. It is a double merit situation.
That was way easier than I thought.
Now the other way is a little bit more complicated. So if you got jammed up on this one, that's completely understandable.
Okay, T I did.
What if it says solve?
There's no way I
Solve for T. All right, so I gotta break the T out of captivity.
answered very wrong.
So jailbreak P plus PRT. Well, that first P's got to go, right? A minus P equals PRT. Final step,
Divide by P.
divide by PR.
I got it wrong. I just think it's
So T equals A minus P over PR. Sounds good to me. All right, number 11. Solving for M. So, yeah. 1/2 MV squared. So, we want to get M alone, which means we want to get rid of the 1/2 and also the V squared. So, how about multiplying by a reciprocal? What would that reciprocal be? 2 over, that takes care of this one. But I also want to get rid of this,
V2 squared.
V squared. So multiply both sides by 2 over V squared. That cancels everything except for the M. And so when you put it all together, you got 2K over V squared equals M.
Oh, I did that way different.
Yeah, there's other ways to do it,
Well,
but
I didn't get the right answer.
it's perfectly fine.
What's
Oh,
the right
okay,
answer?
then maybe not.
We didn't get the right answer.
Oh, too late.
Hey, I got the right answer. It's on your cup.
Here's another one.
Yeah, well, let me put
Fine.
There was one class where
It's on your head.
I caught it midair.
Actually,
Yeah.
you caught it.
It was during a quiz or actually I thought it might have been this class when you guys were taking that last quiz. I was just walking by, I was there, I was like, whoop,
Only do
Does anyone see that?
gave it a squeeze.
Does anyone see that?
It
No?
fell, and then,
Really?
that's exactly what I did.
That only works with mosquitoes.
It was crazy. So now we gotta solve for V. So K equals 1/2 MV squared. All right, so let's do that whole thing of multiplying by reciprocals again. What am I going to multiply both sides by in order to get the V? Well, we'll get the V squared alone. 2 over M. 2 cancels with the 2. The M's cancel. So 2 over M. So we're looking at V squared equals 2K over M.
This is why we need a class on.
So I need to get rid of the power of 2. How do I get rid of a power of 2?
Yeah, square.
Square,
Square.
root.
Radicalize it.
Radicalize it.
Break it into a type of
Wait, what?
Alternative definition of the word radicalize.
someone, like if you radicalize a person, then you can become part of ISIS. You know? Like if ISIS radicalizes you, you're an ISIS.
Okay then. Great history.
I really want to learn about terrorism. Yes, this is math.
Oh. Right.
Well, fortunately, that little pearl of wisdom ends up on
Wait, Mr. Kent, why is that
YouTube.
important?
Because it says it right there.
Wait, the little pearl of wisdom ends
It's
up
in
on
red.
YouTube.
It says it's important.
Now everyone on YouTube knows.
So you always have a positive side?
Yeah, you always want to have a plus.
Math
Plus or minus is always a possibility, so we put it down.
You just do plus
Because
minus under?
depending on the situation, yeah. Depending on the situation, it might have meaning. So if I tell you that the V stands for velocity here, then you could have a negative velocity. It just tells you direction, up versus down, left versus right. If that V stands for volume, then negative doesn't have meaning. So it's gonna revolve around the context and the situation.
Alright.
All right, so for number 1, this is a nice one because we could use our little trick, the diagonal swapping. That tells me that I could take the U and the A and do a diagonal switcheroo.
Diagonal.
So we get A equals K over U. It's a nice, nifty little technique, right? And I'll post the full answer key in a few minutes, so you have that too. All right, so we're solving for K here. We have a K on one side and a K on the other side, so this fits, I think, what you're looking for. The idea would be to isolate the K, so they got to get to the same side. So let's subtract off AK. Always the opposite of whatever operation is there. U equals BK minus AK. What's the commonality? K. So let's pull that out and undistribute. What's going to be left within the parentheses?
B minus A.
B minus A. And I want K alone, so my final step here would be to do what?
Divide by B minus A.
It sure would. So K is equal to U over B minus A.
I got 2G minus 2 equals.
I got A equals G.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
All right, so
It just seemed right because it's the bottom.
I realized yesterday I had extra help that most of you didn't come to, that I didn't show you the nifty shortcut related to this. I showed it to the other class, but not you all. So let me show you the long way. I'm going to do it on the sideboard. I guess I don't need to record. Then, because you start doing things like multiplying fractions, solving equations, but then you're throwing in trigonometry like sines, cosines, tangents, like weird functions in your calculators. And so if you could take some of the algebra for granted, then it tends to work out. All right, but in this case, I can't swap, but I can combine. But we already kind of knew that because that's cross multiplication. So AG equals 1 plus 2A. Well, I got to solve for A, right? So A should be on the same side as the other A. I'm sorry, the 2A should be on the same side as the other A. So let's subtract it over. The operation here was addition, so I break up addition by subtraction. So AG minus 2A equals 1. Now what? Factor out. What's going in front? We're using the undistributed property. Yep. What's going inside? G minus 2. All right, we're pulling out the commonality. Whatever's common to each term gets pulled out, put in front. Whatever remains is going to be within the parentheses. So G minus 2. G minus 2. Meh.
But I multiplied by A.
Multiply by A?
HG.
First, that was your first step?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Same did.
I'm multiplying by
Same thing.
what am I doing? I multiplied by 1 and
All right, what was the other one? Number 10? Ooh. Chinese fireball.
Chinese
Movie reference? Chinese fireball. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Old movie. Not old, old, but still within your lifetime. Say, oh, I think I heard it. What?
It's a Chinese fireball.
What's a Chinese fireball?
That
Fireball from China.
Indeed.
But like,
are they like a
is a
candy?
fireball?
Right. So you'll figure it out.
Of fire.
What is it? Okay.
I'll pay it off later. I'll pay it off with a video later. All right, solving for x. Very exciting. Well, let's do a jailbreak here. Let's get the x out of captivity here. 5g times 2x would be 5. Well, the 5 times 2 is 10. The x times the g, you could write gx or xg. It's up to you. Minus 5. I'll write cg. gc, cg, it matters not. All right. Similar to the last one that we did, we want to group our x values on the same side. So let's subtract it over because it's an implied plus sign here. So we break up the plus with a minus. They're not like terms. So it's not like we could just subtract them. Besides, only one of them's got a number anyway, so. Now what? Factor. What's going in front? X is going in front. Z subtract 10. Commonality goes in front. So whatever's in common to two terms goes in front. Remove it from each part through division. And then check by using the distributive property. X times Z, yep. X times negative 10G, yep. So we're in good shape. And so the final step would be to do what? Divide. That is a boom shakalaka moment. So x equals negative 5 cg
dividing the wrong thing. So I get
minus all that stuff. Number 10? Oh, I have number 10.